Hi all, thanks so much for joining this webinar today, Level Up Your SharePoint with Provoke Partners. Provoke is a Microsoft Solutions partner. We've been around for over 14 years, and we've picked the best of breed partners that we believe will add genuine value to your SharePoint investment. Today we're going to focus on DocuSign, who is the market leader in electronic signatures. James, myself, will be your moderator, and Chris, our technical product specialist, will be your presenter.
Good afternoon, everybody.
So those of you who have attended our webinars in the past have seen this before. We're using the light-hearted theme of Space Invaders to display the leveling up your SharePoint. And what exactly does that mean? It means by using some of these awesome partner products, you can really boost the capabilities of your SharePoint investment. And just a little bit of housekeeping before we get the webinar started. It will last for 30 minutes. We'll be in broadcast-only mode, and it will be recorded. We'll make the recording available to you for future viewing. And you can type questions through the question pane. Although we may not get to all these questions, at the end of the session there will be an area where you can further submit, and we'll get back to you. You do have two voice options. Your system should default to mic and speakers, but if you're having trouble with it, you can dial in with the phone number shown here, and the access code is 978-017-958. If you want to learn more or just get started, because it really is just that easy, you can contact james.poretta@provokesolutions.com or visit our website at provokesolutions.com. And I'm going to hand it over to Chris.
Thanks, James. Well, once again, thank you everybody for attending the Level Up webinar. You might have heard me say this before, but we think SharePoint is great. It's a really powerful platform, but of course, like everything, there are always areas for improvement. And that's why we've picked the best of breed partners to make it fly. In this Level Up webinar series, we'll concentrate on some of the partners that you see in front of you right now. So today we're going to be talking about DocuSign. It's a product that installs really easily, and it helps you solve real-world business problems, as we will demonstrate. The first webinar series concentrated on Nintex, which is the logo to the left-hand side, top left. That's the leader in workflow automation. And we think of Nintex like the glue that holds everything together. But these other three products, they work really well with Nintex, but they also operate independently. So we're going to show you a little bit of that today, but just DocuSign today. So we go to the next slide, James. Today is the circle on the left. So we're going to be talking about electronic signatures, how to complete that missing piece of the puzzle, really, in terms of authorization and then getting something physically signed. Next week, we're going to look at automatically creating documents. We're going to use the Chorus product to do that. So think of it as a really powerful mail merge. After that, we're going to put all three together, Nintex, Chorus, and DocuSign. And what we're going to do is show you a fictitious example of how a salesperson might generate a quote from some information that they pull out of their SharePoint system. It'll generate the document automatically, and then once they're happy with that and it's approved, we'll go and get that signed by the customer, and we'll do that really quickly. And in the fourth week, we're going to look at what do you do with all those paper documents behind you. Okay. Oh no, we can hop onto the DocuSign slide, James. That's fine. So what is DocuSign? We've got the word there, digital signatures. So it provides the ability to electronically sign documents, and this is secure and controlled. And what does that mean? It actually eliminates the need to physically sign them, and the reason for that is an electronic signature is legally enforceable as a piece of, or a pen and ink on paper. So DocuSign itself, the company DocuSign, it helps businesses of all sizes easily and securely sign and manage the documents. And this is with unmatched availability because it's run as a cloud service with legal enforceability. We can use DocuSign to rapidly reduce the turnaround time to sign the documents. People can sign them anywhere, anytime, on any device. So just like we showed you with Nintex, so you can run it on your mobile devices, you can do the same with DocuSign. And as I said before, it's really quick. So this is the most amazing statistic, I think. More than 51% of DocuSign documents are completed within an hour. Why don't you try that with your physical paper documents? You'll see the box on the top left there that says trusted. So just to give you a little bit more information about DocuSign. DocuSign has been around for over 10 years. It is the leader in digital transaction management and e-signatures. Its primary purpose in life is to enable customers to digitize that end-to-end business process. It's also global. So DocuSign is all around the world. DocuSign's got 40 million users in 188 countries, and that's growing fast. It's available in 43 different languages, and there are offices all around the world as well. So of course in the States, but also in London, Paris, Sydney, Sao Paulo, and we're adding more all the time. And when I say that DocuSign is the leader in e-signatures, DocuSign has over 120,000 paying customers, and there are 40,000 new users that have been added daily. So what does that mean? It means that we're processing close to 1 million transactions a day through the DocuSign network, and that makes it the #1 rated electronic signature provider, and this is rated by analysts such as Forrester, Gartner, and Ombud. Of course, you're not here to see a death by PowerPoint, so let's just hop into it, eh? I'm just going to show my screen. Okay, James, just checking that you can see my screen here. It should look like a Nintex workflow.
Yep, looks excellent.
Beautiful. So folks, what I've done is I've logged into my Office 365 site, and I've loaded up a Nintex workflow. Those of you who have attended the previous webinars will recognize this. This here is a document approval workflow. So I'll just lead you through this. What we've got is an example of somebody working on a document, and when they've done working on that document, they submit it for their manager for approval. So I'll take you down through the steps. Here they are, they're working on the document. This is a to-do, and when they're finished, they send it to their manager for approval. And what happens is it goes up here to manager approval, and the manager goes and reviews it. And then there's a question mark. Is it good enough? Now, if it's not good enough, the manager will say it needs more work, and what happens is it actually gets sent back to here. So we can jump back and forth between reviewing the document and approving it until the manager is happy. And if the manager is happy with it, they'll say, yep, it's ready to be signed. Now, when we say ready for signature, what we're going to do is move the document from the work in progress folder or document library, and we're going to put it into the signing one. We're then going to check it in because we don't want anybody to change that after we've finished with the document. And we're going to call DocuSign to populate template details, which is basically recognizing the type of document that it is and adding the signature fields in a controlled manner that we've predefined. And then it's going to go and send the document to the people who need to sign it. Like some previous demonstrations, I'm not going to automate this because I do want to lead you through the steps manually. So let's join the workflow where we're basically at this level here, where the document has been moved to the folder where it's ready for signature and we're about to populate the template. This is what's going to happen in the background. Here is the document that's been moved to the folder. I've given it a really original name called Documents. I'm just using the document library. And if I open up that, we're just using the Word Online. It's nice and easy. You'll see here it's a example contract, and it's agreement for services between Provoke and Acme. And what we're saying here, for this document to be legally binding, both organisations must initial each page, and both organisations must sign and date the final page. And then we've got some fictitious contract terms in here. Okay, and I'll just scroll to the final page to show you what that looks like. So we want Acme to sign it and date it and put their name there, and we also want Provoke to do the same thing. So if I go back to my document library, this is what the Nintex workflow will actually do. I'm just going to tick the document. I'm going to do this manually, but Nintex will do the same thing. And there's a tab here called DocuSign. And all I'm doing is I'm saying I want to get signatures. I want to show you how we set up a document so that it knows where you're supposed to set the signatures up. So I'll click on that. And now in the background, if we're running Nintex, this would be happening in the background. But here I have to complete some manual steps because I am doing this manually. I'm just re-authenticating with DocuSign, and I'm using my Office 365 ID to do that. And what's happening now is the document has been sent to the secure DocuSign portal. Now DocuSign has control of it, and you'll see that based on the URL that's changed. It's gone away from 365 to DocuSign. And what DocuSign has done is it's rendered a version of this same document. Now the first thing that I want to do is who needs to sign it? So I better put some recipients in there. And the first recipient, why don't I sign it? We'll make that nice and easy. And we'll add another person. And that person will be James. James is going to help out quite a bit today. Happy with that, James?
That sounds great.
Cool. And you'll see here we've created a brand new user, James DocuSign Demo at Outlook.com, and you can add as many recipients as you need. Now, not all recipients need to sign the documents. We might just say, hey, we want to send you this document just so that you get a copy, right? And there are some other options that we can add as well. I can add a private message to it, or I can get him to authenticate differently. So the way that James is going to receive notification that he needs to sign this document is by email. But we can also make use of two-factor authentication. So I could create a passcode and then ring James up and say, you're going to get an email, and here's the passcode to access that email, or send him a text message, something like that. I won't do that in this case, just for timing reasons. But you do have multiple options to authenticate. It's not just email. And that's also quite useful if you're sending this document to a group of people instead of an individual. But in this case, I have picked the two people who need to sign it. I can also change the order in which events happen. So I can treat it much like the approval process, that some people need to sign it before it goes to the chief executive of the company, for example. Okay, so now it's found two of us, and I want to say that we need to initial each page. So if I just scroll down, we'll initial on the bottom right, I've got myself highlighted up here. So what I'm going to do is say, out of all these things that I want to do, I need to get my initial. And I'm going to put it there, and then it's for the next page, same thing. Third page, same thing. And then for the fourth page, I, representing Provoke, actually need to sign it fully, so I'm not going to use my signature this time. So I'm going to put my signature there. I need to have the date that we sign it, so I'm going to put it there. And I need to have my full name. Okay. And then the same thing for James, or the customer, or whatever your scenario might be. You click on their name, and you say, I want them to sign it as well. Or initial it, sorry. So this is all drag and drop, nice and quick. And I'm actually going really slow because I want the those of you who are viewing over the webinar to be able to see the screen refresh nicely. I know what it's like when somebody zooms too fast. And James, because you're watching that secondary screen, if you think it is going too fast, just shout out and I'll slow down.
Absolutely, yeah, it's going just fine.
Good. Okay, and James's name. Okay, we're ready to go. Now, in the automated world, you can set up what we call a template, and it will recognize the type of document and know that for all the pages it needs to have the initials of all the recipients, and then on the final page it knows where to put the signatures of full names and the date signed. It is that smart that it can recognize the type of document. Okay. What you can't quite see, I think, at the bottom of my screen is my toolbar is hiding something down here. There is a next button. If I change that, that might disappear now. Actually, I'll just resize this, move that up a little bit. There we go. So I'm not going to go into advanced options for this demonstration today. I'm just going to say send. We're ready to go. We've nominated the 2 people who need to sign the document. Let's go ahead and do that. So what's happening right now is it's taking a copy of that document. It's sending James a link to that document. I'll just say no, I don't need to upgrade right now. And it's also going to tell me the same thing. It's like, well, hey, you're here. Do you want to sign it now? I was like, well, I might as well. I don't have to, of course. I can finish later. So keeping in mind, folks, that I have been in DocuSign before. You can hit the start button, or you can simply scroll to where you need to go. And DocuSign is showing you on the right-hand side that there are 4 pages on this document, and actually each one of the pages I need to do something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the start button, and it's going to scroll me down to where I need to interact with it. Now, if I had never seen this document before, of course I'd read it, but I have. And now all I need to do is say, yep, I am happy to initial that. And I initial that by simply clicking. And I'm just going to scroll back up, because you'll see that it's put my initials there. Because I've used DocuSign before, it knows what my initials are. But we'll show you in a second what it's like for a first-time user. So I'll scroll back down, initial the second page, initial the third page, and you can see here that it's already populated my name and the date, and all I've got to do is hit sign here, and that actually puts my digital signature in there. And it says all required fields are complete. That's all good. When I'm happy with that, I've confirmed it. My job is done. It returns me back to SharePoint. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over the screen back to James, and we'll watch a first-time user sign a document. So make present to James, and I'll talk you through what he's doing. Okay, James, I've just made you the presenter. Yes, and we see that James is he's sitting in his Outlook.com mailbox, and he's received an email saying, please DocuSign this document. So if James clicks on that email, it's going to just say, hey, I'm from DocuSign. You've got an electronic document that you need to sign. It gives the person a little bit of information about that, and also some unique codes, just in case they're wondering what on earth this thing is. When they've read that email, they'll click on the View Documents button. And a very similar interface. It's going, hey, this is DocuSign. Here's all the legal description about exactly what an electronic signature is, and it is legally binding. But you'll see in the background that interface looks really similar to the one that I was just using. So if James is happy with that, he has to consent, and then he can click on the review button. Of course, he can decline if he wants to, but we won't. Same thing with me. He's got the document, then he can read through, and when he's happy with that first page and he wants to initial it, all he has to do is click there. But this is the first time that James has ever used a DocuSign, so it's going, well, do you want me to create a signature for you, or do you want to draw your own? Or if you sign up for your own account, you can actually scan your signature in. So James, you can either pick one or you can draw one, and you can change your name and designation if you want. Yep, and you'll see that it's changing it for you, and it gives you all these different types of styles. I think it's pretty cool. So James has now created his initial, and he's also created a signature. Now all he has to do is scroll down through the rest of the document and do exactly what I did. And you'll see here that James is now pretty much finished, and it didn't take very much to do that. What he did was pretty much all the same steps that I did, except the only extra thing he needed to do was create a signature for the first time. And you see how quick that was. Once he's happy with that, he clicks on the Confirm Signing button. and he's done. Now DocuSign is saying, hey, you're a first-time user. You're not actually a DocuSign member, so you can join up if you want, and believe you me, many people do. But in this case, James, we can just close that box and return to your email. And you'll see here that James has got a new email with the signed version. We won't show you on James's computer. We'll jump back to mine. And I'll just show my screen. Excuse me for a second, and I'm just playing with the mouse, jumping from one screen to the other. Show my screen, main monitor 1. Okay, James, just checking that we can see my screen again.
Yep, and
Beauty.
switched up.
Okay, so here's the example contract without signatures in it, but what DocuSign has done is it's got another folder here called DocuSign Documents. And inside that, fingers crossed, here we go, about a minute ago, a brand new document was uploaded to the SharePoint Online site. So DocuSign did that all automatically for us. And if I open this document up, what's happening here is that Adobe itself understands that this is a document that's been electronically signed, and it is verifying that for us. So some of these organizations like Adobe recognize electronic signatures, and they know that it's done all the checks and balances, and all the signatures here are valid. We can have a look at that if you want. Signed by DocuSign. Okay, it's valid. All this other information. Let me just try and make that a bit bigger for you. Okay. What DocuSign has done is it's put an envelope ID as well, which uniquely identifies that document. And you can ignore this part here. This is because we're using a trial version of DocuSign for this demo. It's put a little watermark, for want of a better word, on the side there. Now, if we scroll down through this document, you'll see here that it's got James and my initials on the bottom right of the page. And if I carry on, you'll see that's on all of those pages. And on the final page, there's James's fancy signature. There's my kind of scrawl, his name, the time that or the date that we did this. And then what happens is that DocuSign also attaches, and this is optional, but I've turned on this feature, it attaches a final page to it that gives us the complete audit history of what happened. So you can see that I sent the DocuSign from my Office 365 site. We required 2 signatures on this and 6 initials, however many pages there were, and when I did everything. So when I looked at it, when I signed it, where I was, and this is my signature, which is recognized by DocuSign as well. You can see from the unique identifier there. Similarly for James, a few minutes later, so I signed it at 2:17 today, and James signed it 3 minutes later from a completely different place. So we've basically got full audit history of what happened to this particular document. And then the final page is a little bit about electronic signatures. Just in case anybody is worried, and we haven't driven it down your throat, forced this down your throats yet, this is legally enforceable. It's highly secure, and it's recognized all around the world. Okay, so that's the document itself. James has got a copy of that document in his inbox. I have a copy in my mailbox as well, and of course, so it's sitting there, and also it's been put automatically back into SharePoint. And then after that, we can get Nintex to take over and move it somewhere else if we wanted to. Maybe put it back into the customers contract folder instead of having it into the default global folder. I hope that has been of interest to you guys. I'm going to hand back to James now just for a final wrap-up.
Thanks, Chris. Well, that was awesome, Chris. Thanks again. And guys, over the last 4 weeks, we've shown you the very powerful Nintex workflow and forms products that you can use to level up your SharePoint. And today we've shown you, for the first time, some of the other products that will combine with SharePoint and Nintex to produce some amazing solutions. With DocuSign, we have incorporated the leader in electronic signatures into your business process, and this allows us to fill the missing pieces of the puzzle and 100% digitize the entire end-to-end approval authorization process. You've seen how fast and easy it is to complete the process. No wonder why over 50% of all transactions are completed within an hour. Now I challenge you to think about your existing signing process and figure out how long it takes. We're able to tell because we have full visibility of the process at any stage. And now next week we're going to sorry about that. Next time we're going to introduce you to a course and show you how to automatically build documents. And join us next week if you would like to ensure the accuracy of information in your documents, document content such as client information, pricing, terms and conditions, and product information automatically being pulled from your SharePoint lists or ERP and CRM systems. Ensure quality and consistency of documents. Manually copy and pasting, which can result in inconsistent formatting, non-adherence to brand and style guidelines. You can just eliminate all of that. Minimize risk and exposure to liability. Ensure that all required content is included in every document sent to clients and prospects, and such as the relevant causes in a set of terms and conditions, correct pricing, the latest product specifications, and etc. If you have any questions in the meantime, please don't hesitate to contact me at james.poretta@provokesolutions.com. And of course, there will be a feedback form at the end of this where you can post your questions. Thank you so much for your time. We hope to see you next week.
Thanks all.